Go.
Ben Brown, Evolution Martial Arts in Sparks, Nevada with Rich. Yeah, man. So we're staying on guard, but now we're into half guard. So I'm just gonna go over what I consider the most fundamental escape from half guard bottom into, you could call it a sweep or it's a takedown. I'm just gonna show it first and then I'll break it down. So you're on top, Rich, and we're going pretty chill pace. So yeah, this is worst case scenario. I'm flattened out. He has inside space here, which keeps my hips from going out. I'm getting pressure here. It's all bad, right? So I go here. Right? To me, that is, and it's not just my opinion. A lot of people say that it's the most fundamental, one of the most reliable ways out. And then what happens is when they compensate to stop it, it opens up other things. But we'll break it down real quick. So one of my biggest problems is I can't get my hips out because this is just like if I was in side control and he had this far side inside space underhook. It can be hard to get that, especially if he's giving me pressure. This is almost impossible to get that way. So what I want to do, at very least, this foot should be on the inside. When it's out here, the only thing it can do is move my hips, which doesn't help me here because my hips are stuck because of this. So I put it on the inside and I can start moving his hips around. I like going to lockdown, it's called lockdown, over theirs, over mine, under theirs, and then I extend it. And now I control his hips forward and back. So I can move his hips in this plane. The whole point of that is to get this, right? If he's tight there, then I start moving him around and look, I got the underhook. Now my hips can move out into open space. So I keep this here and I start hipping out. Come over here, Jake. So I have this underhook. When I have an underhook, I either grab here or here. I can't grab there yet, so I'm here. I connect my head. Whenever you have an underhook, you gotta connect your head, right? So let's turn this way a little, Rich. Yeah, perfect. So my goal now is to build a base. I need to get up on my elbow. In class, I was noticing this is hard for people. If Rich's hips face me and I'm trying to build a base, I can't because he can flatten me out. So what I do is I use this to turn his hips that way. And you can feel it's hard to put pressure on me now. So I can start, a lot of times I get my elbow under me here. I keep this rudder, and then when I get up, I kind of missed it there. When I get up, I transfer control of this leg from this leg to this leg. So I'm still connected here. Come over here for me. So I'll kind of show that again right here. I have this rudder, and as I get up, I switch it. So this is my base. I'm kind of pulling his leg out, and you can see it's affecting this base. You felt that too. I transfer my hand to this hip, and I'm pushing in. This is like a double leg takedown. If I have to, I pick the knee, and I drive him flat. Now, for the sake of flow drilling, we start here. You're good enough, you would never just let me have this. So as I'm driving you flat, you're taking the underhook and you're saving yourself a step. Hopefully. But for the sake of the drill, come over here. For the sake of the drill, you're gonna give me this so that you can get practice getting it back, okay? So go lock down, yep, over, under. And now good, now I feel it too, it's uncomfortable. Now move my hips around so you can get this underhook. There it is. It might not be that easy, but that's the idea, right? Now your whole goal is to hip out and build a base. And I'm giving you some pressure depends on what kind of drill we're doing. If you're learning the move, I'm not giving you much pressure, but I got to give you some structure. If you have the move, then I start adding more pressure, more resistance, so that you can get better at the move. Okay, go ahead. See where his head is? It's under my chin. So I can't turn in. I want to turn and face him, I can't. For two reasons. He's pulling my leg out. Yep. So he's pulling my hips, and he's got his head here, so I can't turn in. Makes it impossible to fix this. And then drive. You didn't even need the knee pick because you had such a good angle. Right? So, to me, that movement, I think you gotta be able to do that without thinking at all. That has to be like one of the top tools in your toolbox against half guard bottom. You know, ideally we don't get flattened out. Like being flat's bad. Being flat without the underhook, real bad, right? I'm not saying this is the only thing to do from bottom half guard. It definitely is not, but to me it's the foundation. And it's because of a couple of things. It's learning how to use your feet to control their hips. It's understanding the importance of a far side underhook to free your hips, right? So now we're gonna put it in, we're gonna add something to it. You go mount. So normally in mount, I gotta frame the hips. I get on an edge, all of a sudden Rich, it doesn't feel so good about his mount, right? I can lift here, or I can peel, knee elbow escape. Now, in previous classes and stuff, we go all the way to closed guard. I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going here, hip out, get this knee free, all the way to closed guard. Let's go mount again. But now we're gonna turn our mount escape, our knee elbow mount escape into a half guard. So go here and look, I'm in half guard with the underhook if I did it right. So I just saved myself a step. And now it's exactly what we did before. See, I'm building my base. Now look, if I don't control Rich's hip here, I don't have a great base, it's narrow. So if you give me any forward pressure at all, I'll go back down. This is the critical point, this is the hardest part. I use this rudder to let me get my base. I can't let you turn your hips in the knee. And then I drive. Go back to here. Sometimes you can slip your head out, and now I have a real back take, right? With one of my hooks already, and we're already into that. So, if you get good at that half guard escape, you might take the back. I saw you doing that. I saw a bunch of people doing it in class.
It's right there.
That's the best. Yeah, so we're doing the hardest things. We're starting from worst case scenario, flatten out without the underhook. Because I feel like if you can get out of that, you can get out of anything, right? We start with the worst. Do you have anything?
Practice.
Yeah, so we got to repeat. And that's the thing is, what I see people do is they're drilling with too much resistance. If there's too much resistance, your brain is not in learning mode. We're not actually building muscle memory. You're kind of more in a somewhat survival type mode. So you have to modulate the pressure you're giving based on the partner you have, how good they are, how well they know this movement pattern, right? So we gotta adjust based on who we're with. But it's like you said, we gotta practice repetition with the right amount of resistance. The better you get at it, the more resistance we add, right? But we always start slow and then we ramp it up, we intensify it from there, and then you'll get it.